Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When a man misses you, he can try to act strong, he can try to act cool, but somewhere down the line, he gonna slip up. See, you can't hide what your heart is screaming. You can put on a straight face. You can say, oh, I'm good, I'm fine without her. But let me tell you, when the silence gets too loud, when the nights get too long, when the memories start creeping in, that man going to show his hand. When a man truly misses you, his actions will reveal it, no matter how hard he tries to cover it up. A man can act tough, he can put on his best poker face, he can even convince his friends that he's moved on. But deep down inside, if his heart is still tied to you, it's going to show. See, men are not as good at hiding their emotions as we like to think we are. We like to play it cool, act like we in control. But when that missing kicks in, all that control goes right out the window. His behavior starts shifting, his routine changes, and he'll start doing things he didn't even notice he was doing, all because that feeling of missing you is eating at him. When a man misses you, he might not say it outright. He may not send a text that says, I miss you, because in his mind, that sounds too vulnerable, too open, too risky. But what he will do is show it in 1,000 little ways. He'll start scrolling through your social media late at night, looking at your pictures, replaying old memories in his head. He might accidentally like a post from 3 months ago because he couldn't stop himself from looking too long. That's not just curiosity, that's him slipping up because missing you has gotten the best of him. And pay attention to how he talks to you when he finally reaches out. He might try to disguise it as a casual check-in like, hey, just wanted to see how you're doing. But the way he lingers in the conversation gives him away. He'll start asking questions he doesn't really need the answers to because what he's really doing is trying to stay connected to you. It's his actions, not his words, that tell you the truth. He doesn't want to admit he's missing you, but his heart is louder than his pride. A man who misses you will find excuses to put himself in your path. He might show up at places where he knows you might be, acting like it's a coincidence. He'll check in with mutual friends just to see what you've been up to. He'll even bring up random little details about something that reminds him of you, because when you're in a man's heart, you stay there, and his actions will reflect that. He can try to bury it, but emotions like that don't stay buried for long. Even in conversation, he'll slip up. He might mention something you two used to do together or a place you went. Without realizing, he just revealed he's been thinking about it. He'll call you by a nickname he used when y'all were close and then laugh it off like it's nothing. But that's the truth slipping out. A man who doesn't miss you doesn't remember those details, but a man who does can't help but let them leak through his words and his actions. And the funny part is, men don't always know they're doing. He could be telling himself he's fine, he's moved on, but his behavior betrays him. He'll check your stories 5 minutes after you post them. He'll accidentally send a text meant for somebody else just so you'll respond. Or he'll bring up the most random thing just to keep the line of communication open. His pride says one thing, but his actions reveal the truth. That's why I always say, don't listen so much to what a man tells you when you're trying to figure out how he feels. Watch what he does. His actions are the window into what's really going on inside. When he misses you, that need to connect, to be near you in some way, is going to override the image he tries to keep. It's going to push through no matter what, because you can't fake not missing somebody you truly care about. The truth always shows up in the way he moves, the way he talks, and the way he can't help but let those feelings slip out. Yeah. Slip-ups happen because emotions have a way of overpowering logic. A man can tell himself all day long that he's going to keep it together, that he's not going to call, not going to text, not going to let you know he's thinking about you. But when those emotions rise up, logic gets drowned out. See, a man may pride himself on being strong and disciplined, but when the heart is involved, all that structure, all that control, it just melds away. That's when the mistakes start creeping in, and those mistakes are the biggest clues that he's missing you. When a man is trying to move on or trying to prove to himself that he doesn't care anymore, his logical mind builds a wall. He says, I'm not calling her, I'm not texting her, I'm not checking up on her. And for a little while, he might actually stick to it. But then comes that one night when the loneliness gets heavy, when he's sitting there thinking about all the moments you shared, when he sees something that reminds him of you. Logic says, don't do it. But emotions say, just reach out. And in that tug of war, emotions usually win. That's when his finger slips, he dials your number, or he sends that late night message. That's the slip up. It might not even be a full-blown confession. Sometimes it's subtle. He'll say something like, hey, just checking in, or hope you're doing good. On the surface, it seems casual, but underneath, that's his emotion speaking louder than his pride. He wanted to hold back, but he couldn't. Logic would have kept him silent, but emotions kicked the door wide open. That's why you always see men making contact when they claim they're done. The heart doesn't care about the rules the brain tries to set. And the funny thing is, slip-ups don't always come in the form of reaching out. Sometimes they show up in his words when he does talk to you. He might say something that reveals he's been paying attention, even though he swore he wasn't. He'll bring up something you posted or mention a place you went, and then he'll try to backtrack like he didn't mean it. But the truth is, emotions had him watching, emotions had him listening, and in the moment, logic couldn't cover it up. That slip just told you everything you needed to know. He still cares, he still notices, and he still misses you. Calls and texts are the easiest way to see it. A man who doesn't care doesn't reach out. But when he slips, you'll notice the timing. It's late at night when he's by himself. It's early in the morning when he just woke up and you were the first thought on his mind. It's in the middle of the day out of nowhere with a random reason to talk. Logic never planned those moments. Emotions push the button. Emotions type the message, and emotions hit send. Sometimes it comes out even more raw. He might get a little emotional and say something like, I miss talking to you, or things don't feel the same. He didn't plan to say it, but it slipped. That's what emotions do. They leak out through cracks in the wall, and once it's out there, he can't take it back because now you've seen past the image he was trying to keep up. You've seen the truth. Even silence itself can be a slip-up. You ever notice how a man would try to stay away, but then he lingers too long on the phone when you do talk? He doesn't want to hang up. He doesn't want the conversation to end because emotions are pulling him closer while logic is whispering, keep it cool. But that pull is stronger than his pride. The longer he lingers, the more it shows. At the end of the day, every man thinks he's in control of how much he reveals, but that's just not how emotions work. You can try to play it smart, try to stay detached, but when you miss somebody, it's going to come out in the words you say, the calls you make, and the texts you send. Those little slip-ups may seem accidental, but really, they're the purest sign of how he feels. Because no matter how much logic he tries to hold on to, emotions will always win. When a man really misses you, he's going to find excuses to reach out. That's just how it goes. He may not have the courage to come right out and say, I miss you, because that feels too vulnerable, too exposed. But trust me, he'll come up with something. He'll create reasons to put himself back in your world. Even if they don't make much sense, it might look random, but nothing about it is random. That's his heart trying to reconnect, using his mind to disguise it. You'll notice it in the little check-ins. Out of nowhere, he'll hit you with a message that says, hey, just making sure you're good. Now think about that for a second. He doesn't actually need to check if you're good. You were fine before he texted. And you'll be fine after. What he really means is, I was thinking about you and I needed a reason to open this door. He's not checking on your health. He's checking on your presence. That's an excuse wrapped up in concern. Sometimes he'll pretend like he just remembered something from the past. He'll say, oh, hey, didn't you used to know someone who worked at that restaurant? I just drove by it. Come on now. He didn't just randomly remember that. He remembered you. That's what triggered it. He just dressed it up in small talk to make it look casual. That's how men work when they miss somebody. We don't always know how to be straightforward, so we go the long way around to avoid admitting the truth. Another classic move is asking about something trivial he doesn't even care about. He'll text, hey, do you still have that charger I left at your place? First of all, he doesn't even need that charger. He's got 3 others at home. But that's not the point. The point is he needed a reason to talk to you that didn't sound too obvious. That little piece of nonsense becomes his ticket back into your space. That's not logic. That's longing dressed up in practicality. Men will also use mutual connections as an excuse. He might say, hey, have you talked to so-and-so lately? That's not really about the other person. It's about starting a conversation with you. He's using them as a bridge to get back to you. That way it looks innocent, but underneath it's driven by the fact that he misses hearing your voice. It's a strategy, but it's also a slip up because you can see right through it if you're paying attention. Even social media becomes a playground for excuses. He'll comment on something small, maybe laugh at an old picture, maybe send you a meme that reminded him of you. That's not coincidence. That's him trying to remind you, hey, I'm still here. I'm still thinking about you. It looks like a casual gesture, but it's loaded with meaning. Men don't spend time engaging with people they don't care about. Every little tap, every like, every comment, it's an excuse to reach out without having to spell it out. What's even more telling is when he brings up old memories. He'll say, remember that time we got lost on the way to that party? Or man, I just thought about that trip we took. That's not casual. That's his way of testing the waters, of seeing if you're still open to reliving the moments that matter. Memories are his excuse to bring you closer again, because he knows those stories still live in your heart too. And sometimes the excuses are so transparent you can't help but laugh. He'll say, oh, I was just in the neighborhood. Really? You live 30 minutes away. You didn't just happen to be in the neighborhood. You drove there, hoping to see me, hoping to bump into me, because missing me pulled you closer whether you wanted to admit it or not. That's the reality of how men act when they miss someone. They create opportunities, they invent reasons, they come up with stories just to justify their presence. When a man misses you, reaching out becomes less about the reason and more about the feeling. The reason is just to cover up the excuse that makes him feel less exposed. But the truth is, every check-in, every random question, every sudden memory he shares is just another way of saying, I couldn't stay away. I needed to hear from you. I needed to feel connected to you again. That's the real message hidden underneath all those excuses. When a man misses you, one of the clearest giveaways is his tone. You don't even need to be a mind reader to catch it, because it shows up in the way he talks, the way he phrases things, the energy in his voice. A man can try to act casual. He can pretend like he's just checking in or just talking normal. But when he misses you, that warmth creeps back in without him realizing. His concern gets stronger. He starts asking questions that go a little deeper. And sometimes, if you really pay attention, that little spark of jealousy slips out. See, tone is something men can control as well as we think we can. You can put on a straight face. You can choose your words carefully, but your voice always gives you away. If you listen close, you'll hear when a man's heart is speaking louder than his pride. When he talks to you, there's a softness, an extra care in the way he says your name, an emotion that wasn't there before. It's not just words anymore. It's emotion coming through the crack. He'll ask about your day, but the way he asks tells you everything. It's not a quick how you doing and then moving on. No, it's him slowing down, waiting for your answer, wanting to know the details. That's his tone showing you he's invested, that you're on his mind. When a man misses you, the concern he has for you comes alive in his voice. He wants to make sure you're okay, not just because it's polite, but because your well-being matters to him. That concern comes through naturally, and no matter how hard he tries to mask it, it's obvious. And then there's that warmth, the way he laughs with you, the way his voice lights up when you answer the phone. It's like a glow you can hear. That's not just friendly conversation. That's a man who feels relieved just hearing from you. You can tell when someone's happy to talk to you. And when a man misses you, his tone is full of that happiness. It's like you give him a little piece of peace, and his voice can't help but reflect it. But perhaps the most revealing part is when the jealousy slips out. He might not come out and say, I don't want you with anybody else, but you'll hear it in the way he asks certain questions. He'll say things like, so who you been hanging out with lately? Or you been talking to anybody new? And while he may try to play it off as curiosity, the edge in his tone tells the real story. That's not casual curiosity. That's a man trying to figure out if he's still got a place in your life. Sometimes it'll be subtle, like a pause before he responds, or a little change in his energy when you mention another guy. He might laugh it off, but his tone betrays him. That's what happens when emotions override logic. He doesn't mean to sound jealous, but it leaks out because he's feeling it. And tone is where feelings show themselves first. You don't even have to ask him how he feels. The way he says things already told you. Even in silence, the tone is different. When he lingers on the phone and doesn't want to hang up, that hesitation is a tone all by itself. When he gives you longer responses than necessary, when he stretches out the conversation instead of rushing it, his tone is telling you he doesn't want the connection to end. That's not something a man can fake for long. If he misses you, it comes through loud and clear in how he holds on to the conversation. And the beauty of tone is that it's honest. Words can be rehearsed, but tone slips out naturally. When he misses you, that softness, that warmth, that hint of jealousy, they all show up whether he wants them to or not. It's the emotional truth breaking through the logical mask. So even if he says he's fine, even if he tries to act casual, listen to his voice, because that's where